So I am Patty, and I am back again this week to talk to you guys a little bit more about getting through the holidays. We talked a little bit last week about the struggle that a lot of people have during the holidays. And so, what I want to do now is talk a little bit about some of the things that other people have done and that maybe you might want to try to get not just through the holidays, but to make them a good thing. Just because something isn't the way we want it in our life doesn't mean that it has to completely take away from the holiday experience for everybody in the family. And as the parent, for me personally, I set the tone a lot for what happens in the home during the holidays. And so there's things that I can do to help me be that person that sets that tone for my household during the holidays. And the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about what I can do is something that I go back to often in many different scenarios, but I think is especially important during the holidays. And that is the concept of gratitude and just being grateful for what you do have. I have this little thing that I just wanted to read because I think it's really powerful for this topic, and that is by a woman named Kathy Toffenbaugh. She has a website. She is a tremendous resource for families in all topics related to addiction and to having somebody in your home. And she's a parent herself who's experienced this. And so she does a topic on this same subject. And she writes, gratitude transforms our lives from the inside out, training our brains to look for things to be thankful for, even when we're not feeling it, is a miracle for our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Simply put, gratitude is how we create a happier, more peaceful life, even when our children are struggling. So that takes me to, I think, the first thing that I think we can do is just to really focus not on the problem, but focus on the things that we do have to be grateful for. I talked about in my home, in my family, that we have multiple children. Those children are doing amazing things. So I need to, be thinking about all the things that I have to be grateful for my whole family. Maybe my son, who is in active addiction, was really making an effort during the holidays to try to be a part of the family. Even though he was still struggling with substance use, maybe he was really making an effort to participate. It's not the perfect scenario, but it is certainly something to be grateful for that initiative that he's giving. Maybe we have other family members who are showing up for the holidays that we haven't seen in a long time. Maybe we have a friend who's struggling with something that we can be helpful for. There's just so many things that we can be grateful for. So putting our energy into the things that are positive in our life, and for the people that are adding to our life, and for the things that we can do to impact other people's lives, I think is probably the first and foremost thing that we can do to get through that time period, and not just get through it, but to maybe even enjoy it. The other thing I think is really important for family members is just self-care, taking care of yourself during that time, taking time to breathe. It's a busy time for everybody. In the best of circumstances, people get stressed and frazzled. And so just taking a little time for yourself and keeping your expectations reasonable. If you have somebody in your family who is struggling with substance use, it may not be the year to invite everybody from far reaches of the country to your home. Maybe this is a year to keep your holidays a little simpler, keep maybe the group a little smaller. Maybe make sure that you surround yourself this year with people that are going to be empathetic to your situation, or that understand the situation and are willing to be supportive of you. If you have family members that are not supportive, or if you have family members that just don't get it and they're critical or they're difficult, maybe this is not the year to spend the holidays with them if that's going to be harmful to you. And if that's not an option, because sometimes it's not, sometimes the invite list is not completely up to you, then coming up with some strategies for how to deal with those people. I'm a big fan of transparency. If you talk about the problem, if you talk about what's happening, it takes the power away from it. So the more you're trying to conceal and hide and keep something secret, the more power it has. So to whatever degree you're comfortable, putting voice to it and just saying, we sure are sad that, our son, our daughter, our brother, our husband, our wife, our family member, whoever that might be, is not here. Putting voice to it takes the power away from it. And so just being willing to be a little transparent to whatever degree you feel like you can, I think is good. Sometimes it's just really painful. It's just really difficult to be in the middle of the holidays. And maybe that person in your life is not being supportive, and they're not wanting to participate, and they're making life very difficult. Sometimes, that might be a time that it's just good to maybe go do something different. Maybe go give back. Go spend your holidays serving in a homeless shelter, or I know many treatment facilities will have Thanksgiving or Christmas meals at their facilities. They would probably love to have somebody come to help work in the kitchen, help prepare the meals, serve the meals. Being around other people that are working towards their sobriety might give you hope, and it might give you a feeling of worthiness during a time that you might be feeling somewhat self-critical of where your life is today. So go in and give them back, work in a soup kitchen, go do whatever you can do in your community to maybe give back to others. Those are all things that you might be able to do. And then just cutting yourself a little slack, giving yourself a break, that this doesn't have to be the perfect holiday. I know when I look back at our holidays as a family, those years that my son was in active addiction were difficult. They were stressful. They were scary. I worked really hard to create an environment and an image and a look of what it was supposed to look like, when in my heart, inside, I knew that that's not where it was. Cut yourself a little slack. You don't have to do that. If it's not perfect, then it's not perfect, and be okay with that. Find other ways to get through that holiday. If you've lost a loved one, I've talked to a number of my friends who have lost loved ones, and I've asked them, what do you do in the holidays? And the holidays are particularly difficult for people who have lost a loved one. I think one of them said it best when they said, we just put our arms around each other and we hold each other, and we focus on the memories of the things that were good, and we get through the holidays that way. So it's a challenging time for everybody. It's a challenging time in the best of circumstances. But when you've got a loved one who's struggling with a substance use disorder, it's a particularly difficult time. And there are definitely things you can do. Research, go online, Google how to get through the holidays, and you're going to find just a plethora of information of things that you can do. And you might find an idea that I haven't mentioned, but something that speaks to you that would help you to get through that. And then just focus on gratitude. What do you have to be thankful for during this time? Instead of putting all your energy into what isn't positive and what isn't going well, focus on all those other things in your life that are your blessings, that are the things to be grateful for, and put your energy into that, and do your best to love those that are present in your life, and to be there with those, and keep the love and the hope for those that are struggling.